Faith without works is dead. Yes, today we are talking about faith. Today we are talking about belief without any evidence. And what does it have to do with manifestation? Well, guess what? It's got everything to do with who you're being, what you're doing, and what do you want to have. So we're going to get into that today. And I just want to preface this with I have been reading the Bible. Yes, cover to cover, the New Jerusalem Bible edition, in case you were wondering. And I have come across a whole bunch of stories that talk about faith. So we're going to get into a little bit of that today. I wanted to just share some stuff and I just want to say this. I am not by any means a Bible scholar. I am not by any means somebody who is an authority on this. So if I say something wrong, happy if you just leave me a comment rather than tell me how wrongity, wrong, dumb I am. Please leave a comment, correct me, because I would love to better enhance what I already know. So I just finished Genesis. That's all I've read. Don't come for me. Don't at me for anything else because I don't know. Let's get into it. So first, let's just talk about this be, do, have experience. I have this 21-day adventure. If you want to manifest faster, if you want to manifest more powerfully, if you want to manifest more, this adventure that I have created for you, this experience, totally hypercharged that. Totally revolutionized. This is the exact formula that I use for my own manifestations. And trust me, it works. I have manifested so many things using this over the course of my lifetime. And, you get support from me. Now, doing just plain audits of people's manifestations, I charge $500. And you get 3 of them with me here. Not only that, but you're getting extra masterclasses, ones that I don't publish. These are the ones that are explicitly about how to manifest, explicitly about how to get the thing that you actually want. Okay, so follow that, but let's go. So let's talk about being passive, because one of the things that a lot of people believe is that manifestation is magic. Abracadabra, I have something. Abracadabra, this thing just pops into my life. Well, that's not how it works. Most people wait for the evidence in order for them to be able to have faith. Most people wait for the evidence that they're going to have the thing in order to believe that they're going to have the thing. And that's not how we roll here. So what is it that we want to do? Faith is the bridge. Comes with practice. Faith is the first move in everything that you want. You have to believe that you are the person who can have it. You have to believe that the things you are doing are going to get you that thing. And you have to believe that you are worthy of that thing. There are just so many different aspects to manifestation that requires faith without even knowing that something is happening. Faith without works is dead. So you have to put in the work in order to have this faith. You have to put in the work in order to believe all these aspects of your manifestation in order for it to actually come true. So 2 things, faith and doubt. These are 2 sides of the same coin. They are both belief systems. Faith is the belief that the end of the movie is going to be good. Doubt is belief that the movie is going to end up with everybody dead and dying and the plague won and the zombies won. Those are 2 wildly different perspectives. And, the fact is you get to choose. Most of us will use evidence that has been told to us, that has been shown to us, that we've experienced in order to already believe that we know what the outcome is. But here's the thing, is that all that evidence before, all those times that you failed before, all those dates that led to nothing, all those job interviews that led to nothing, all those jobs that you had that were terrible, all of that is evidence of, guess what? Nothing. Nada. What it is just an experience that happened. There is no evidence right now of anything that happens in the future. Now, here's what you can be assured of is that if you keep putting in the same inputs into your actions, if you keep putting in the same inputs into your daily routine, you can pretty much guess what's going to happen at the end of the story. It's like, oh, I decide to do drugs one day, and then the next 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 day, and on and on and on and on and on and on. We can kind of know what's going to happen with that, right? So if you want to build something better, yes, there is a sense of you have to do something repeatedly over and over and over and over and over again in order to get to that point, to shift your destiny to that time. Now, what does that mean? How do you do that? That's the 21-day experience. Go do it like that. However, what we're talking about today is faith. So there is a faith that you have to have that all these actions that you're taking are leading you to that destiny that you want. And you got to keep moving. You can't stay still. Staying still is actually going backwards. Yes. So what does faith really mean? So faith is one of the most misunderstood words, but let's clear it up what it is. So faith is not this delusion that everything is okay, nothing is wrong, I get no challenges, nothing bad ever happens to me, nothing is ever wrong. That's not what it is. It's not that toxic positivity, blind positivity. We don't do that here. But what it is actually looking at what it is that is happening through the lens of objectivity. And that's really hard when you have a lot of emotions tied to it because of previous encounters, because of what people have said, because of what other people have experienced and have told you. So we have to look at situations from a certain perspective. Let me give y'all a example here, okay? So yesterday, I recorded this masterclass. This is my second time recording this. Now, could I be upset? Yes. Could I say, oh, you know what? The universe doesn't want me to put this video out? Yes. Could I say, oh, actually, this is terrible. I never want to do this ever again? Yeah, I could also say that. But that's not the route that I'm choosing. The route that I'm choosing is there was a reason for it. I don't know what the reason was, but what I did learn at the end of the day was that the reason was because I was supposed to go spend some time with my husband. His brother-in-law came over and I was like, oh, guess what we're doing? We're spending time with family. And when I zoom out and even think about it even more, yesterday's video was all over the place. It was a little crazy, but here we are. We're doing it again. And, you know, the material now that I was doing yesterday, I'm like, oh, I can distill it a little bit better. I can do this. I can do that. And here we are. And this is my second attempt at trying to record it. Clink, clink. So faith is choosing the belief before the evidence appears. So yesterday, when I saw that I had no audio on my video, I chose to not blow up. I chose to not freak out. I chose to walk the path of, you know what? I don't know why that happened, but whatever, we'll just figure it out. Because I have that much faith in not only myself, but also the process. So there we go. And it is a daily deliberate practice. Faith doesn't come naturally. Faith, like switching between doubt and faith, is one of the hardest things to do. We live in a comfort zone bubble. You know, everything that we do is designed to keep the body shape that we have. You know, my AC is set at a certain temperature to keep my skin my skin comfortable. You know, I sleep on the same side of the bed, so my bed is like molded to my body. So there is like a lot of stuff that we don't even consciously become aware of that are programmed to keep us comfortable. Now, what happens if I don't get enough the amount of food? Like my body feels hungry. What if my husband falls asleep on my side of the bed? Oh, I gotta go sleep on his side of the bed? Like, what if my AC breaks in the middle of a summer heat wave and it's 99 degrees outside? Like, that's pretty uncomfortable. That's the same principle of trying to move out of your comfort zone to be more expanded, to get more things, is that you have to move beyond that comfort zone and reach to a place that is unknown. So yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, but it is a daily practice. It is something you have to keep doing, just reaching for 1% more in order to expand. So how is it that let's just talk about the be, do, have principle for a second, okay? So this principle states that you have to be the version of the person who has the thing that you want. Then from that place, you have to act accordingly. You have to do the things that that person would do in order to get the things that they want. And then because you're the person who does those things naturally, in this universe, you will then get the things that you want to have. And most people have it backwards. People believe, oh, once I have the job, once I have the partner, once I have the money, once I have the car, once I have this, once I have the followers, once I have the engagement, once I have this, then I will level up. Then I will invest. Then I will donate. Then I will take myself out and treat myself nice and do my hair and do all. And then I will be happy. I will be whole. I will be secure. I will be healthy, which is so backwards. Here's a great example that to me, like totally blew my mind the other day is if you want clients, say you're trying to manifest a business and you're trying to manifest clients, but you're uncomfortable. You're not confident in yourself, right? You're not going to get clients. If you show up saying, oh, sir, like, if you would like, hire me and like, put like, $58 into like my bank account, like, if you could please like have, like, I would really, really appreciate that. They're never like, no. Like, what are you talking about? Absolutely not. Like, clearly you're not confident in yourself. You're not confident in your product. You're never going to get any clients. You have to show up knowing beforehand, hey, I'm a boss. I do boss things. I sell boss things. The thing I created is making boss moves. Even if you've sold zero, you still have to show up like that because then you'll never get a client still showing up like this. So you have to exude confidence. So it's logical to understand that you have to become the person first, then do the things with that persona to get the thing that you want. So in this case, it would be somebody who's confident, who's charismatic, who's charming. And I do sales with the persona of confident, charismatic, charming. And then that will get someone to purchase because they have faith in that person. Understand? So let's start with faith, have. And why do we start with have? I know I just said, oh, everybody's doing it backwards because they think that they want the thing. No. When you are trying to actually work through your manifestations, we want to reverse engineer it. And this is why. Because we have to know where the bullseye is. We have to know the target. We have to know the actual thing that we need. And that's where faith comes in, because there are so many times that we try to define the things that we want, and then we find, oh, I don't even believe that I can have it, that it exists, and all this stuff. The 21-day experience goes through all of that, and I highly recommend, because then you can start to define what it is that you want. So let's talk about what are the 4 pillars of reasons that faith comes into believing the desire is yours. 1, you have to believe that it exists. Let's say you're trying to manifest a partner. Do you believe that there's true love? Do you believe true love exists? Do you believe that, a good, healthy relationship exists? Do you believe that where you live, there are single people? Do you believe that it's even on this planet that true love can exist? That's number 1. Number 2, is it available? Is it for you? Now, I have worked with women who have been like, all men are trash. I have worked with men who have been like, man, women ain't shit. Like, the men have told me this to a woman. They've said it to me. They're just like, women aren't the same as they used to be. So do you believe that it is available, that it's not locked away from you, that the secret good guy, the secret good girl, the secret person is not locked away from you, that you have access to them, that you can step into a world where there are plenty of people who can be with you. So, I mean, that's just, we're leaning into relationships, I guess, with this video, but that's what we're doing. So the other thing is it possible for you, not just other people, not just your parents, not just your uncles, not just your friends, like, is it possible for you to have this? Like, oftentimes we see on the internet, like all these amazing couples and things that they do for one another, and they highlight all this wonderful stuff. And you're just like, that does not happen to me. That happens to other people maybe, but not to me. There's a lot of self-worth work that needs to happen there. So finally, are you allowed to want it and receive it? Now, I was, awesomely blessed with a family who was very spiritual and religious, but also understood that money is not evil. But I do know that there are plenty of people who grew up in particular sects and that's spelled SECTS, sex. I can't say that word. Who believe that money is the root of all evil, but it's really the lust of money is the root of all evil. But that's a different discussion anyways. But that's the point is, did you grow up believing that wanting what you want was bad? Did you grow up believing that wanting what you want was good and even getting it? There's this phenomenon where sometimes a person will feel guilty for out earning their parents. That's completely insane, but it's true. It happens. And because of that, you have to sort of start to reframe and think, wait, but if I have it, then I can help them, or whatever it is the reframe is. But believing that you like have the right to even want the thing. There's actually this I love YouTube because it gives me a lot of ammo and a lot of stories. And this one TV show that pops up is where like the lady is doing a cooking show, and there's a woman who's talking about like, oh, I could never be a doctor. And the woman was like, oh, what kind of doctor would you be? And she was like, oh, that I would be an open heart surgeon, but, I'm just a housewife, like she couldn't even dare to dream to want to be an open heart surgeon. But just because somebody believed in her, like completely reframed what she was thinking. And it was totally amazing to watch. I know it's a show, but still, I love stuff like that. So this is where people block the have. It's like, what if it never happens? Who am I to want this? What if I'm not worthy? A lot of self-worth stuff going on, but I want to talk about the what if it never happens? So this is a double-edged sword, because what if it never happens implies that the timeline is incorrect. You're rehearsing for failure. So you're saying, what if it never happens? So I'm going to live like it never happened. I'm going to live like, because if it never happens, what's the point? So there's that side of it. But the other side to it is you also have to get right with it never happening and still act as if it's happening, which is like totally wild. How do you hold those two beliefs together? The first is setting your intention, saying, hey, this is a thing that I want. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's this high frequency thing that I'm trying to attain and match my level to it and get to it. It's going to be amazing. But what I know is I'm going to walk the path towards that thing. And if that thing doesn't happen, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that what I do wind up doing is actually going to be better. Whatever that looks like, which is crazy because sometimes people are like, hey, I want to become a doctor. And they take the MCAT, they study, they go to medical school. And then like 2 years into medical school, they're like, actually, I want to be a veterinarian. And they pivot, become a veterinarian, and they live out the rest of their life very happily. but they had the thought, oh, I want to go to medical school. And they just walked the path. And then from there, like life unfolds because they allow whatever to happen, happen. That was a crazy example. So I might edit it out or I might just leave it so that you guys see how crazy I am. The point is that that's how you deal with timeline crises, is becoming okay that this particular thing that you're asking for is not the thing. Is that you're saying, hey, if this particular thing doesn't work out, I absolutely know that what I do wind up getting to is going to be even better. But that's what I'm aiming for. That's where I'm going. That's the thing. So let's talk about the Bible for a second. So Noah, like, could you imagine just chilling in your home and then God being like, hey, you need to go build a boat because I'm going to flood the world because F everybody. And all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm going to go build a boat. Yeah. Because to me, that's crazy. I would be like, what's a boat? Because no one ever saw like a drop of rain in his life. So he's like, what the hell's a boat? Wait a minute. How big is this thing going to be? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Flood the earth? What's a flood? What's a rain? I don't understand, God. That would be me. But Noah was like, all right, God said, that's what I got to do. That's what I got to do. And so he goes to build this massive boat and has to go get all the animals and brings all the animals. Like, I don't know how they didn't eat one another, but that's what happened. So it's like, what can you even imagine having a calling that is as small as, hey, it's time to leave your job right now. It's time to take care of children right now. Hey, it's time to, move to another country right now. And you're like, but God, everything here is so good. What are you talking about? Hey, you know what? My life with my husband is pretty solid right now. What do you mean have children? Like having these callings in our life, you would think it's like, oh my God, like people. And this is like the part that gets me, right? Is that everybody was looking at him like he was crazy. And we're going to talk about this later. So you have these societal pressures to not have faith in your dream. You have all these familial pressures to not have faith in your dream. But if you've got a calling in your heart that is saying, hey, you've got to do this, you've got to do it. Like there's just no ifs, ands, and now I'm not saying go quit your job, divorce your husband, take the dog. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the calling in you is worth exploring, and starting to move into that direction is going to lead you to ever more satisfaction. I promise you that. So, and that's the thing. Your arc is already assigned. It's the business, it's the book or the podcast, it's the healing work, it's the new identity that you are creating. You already know what that is. You listen, you right there, you know what I'm talking about. That thing that you deeply desire, the thing that you can't even speak out loud, the thing that you're saying, yes, I want that. I wish I could have that, but that's not for me. It is for you. It is. I promise you that. It's not for somebody else. That calling was put into your body for you. And it's calling you to expand the person that you are so that you can attain that thing. Okay? Soapbox put away for now. So let's move into do. What do you do? And this one is like my favorite one of all. Like I should have put the Noah thing under this one, but that's not what happened. So, faith is not only what you believe in, it's what are you willing to do because of what you believe. And that becomes a pivotal point in, I have maybe 700 videos on my YouTube, right? And, 300 of them were my podcasts that I imported before. But let's talk about this for a second. So my YouTube channel at the time of this recording has 217 people. So it took me 21 months in order to get 100 viewers, 100 followers, 100 subscribers, whatever they call them on YouTube, okay? It took me 3 months to get my next 100. And these 17, it's taken me 2 days. So I think I'm on track to maybe get 100 more in a month. So you see that there's like this acceleration. But in those first 21 months, boy, let me tell you, I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit. And it wasn't that I wanted to quit because I hated what I was doing. I wanted to quit because I felt like I was screaming out into the void and just talking to nobody. And that can make you feel crazy. That can make you feel like, what am I doing? But I kept thinking, you know what? No, 3 people are listening to me. You know what? No, 10 people. Oh my God. When I got 10 people, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, 10 people are listening to me. And now 217 people get access to my video. And I think to myself, hey, if I were in an auditorium and 200 people were sitting in front of me, I would be like, hell yeah. So why is it that like I would be like, no, I don't want 217 people on my YouTube. Like, this is amazing. So you have to start to know that what you're doing is because it is aligned. That doesn't mean just do things all willy-nilly. That means have some divine inspiration. And we're going to talk about that. So aligned action happens before the applause. So, what is aligned action? Aligned action is divinely assigned to you. And how do you figure out what is aligned action? Well, so I did a live on this, and it's actually in the Be Do, it's in my 21-day experience also. But the magic walk, swim, run, singing tunes or humming, cooking, doing things that do not distract your mind, but get your body moving and getting your body into flow. Like I love doing journaling with conscious stream of thought. And when you're doing things that like move your body so that your mind can wander, not that you're like focused on anything. So if you're singing, it can't have words. If you're listening to music, it can't have words. You can't really be focused on what you're writing. So conscious stream of thought. If you don't know what that technique is, you can also pick up my book. Let's see. Do I have my book within arm's reach? No, I don't. Point being is that if you're doing conscious stream of thought, like your brain just starts to flow and all this information and creativity happens. Actually, matter of fact, I'm going to share this with you guys. So in order for me to get the idea for this video, I didn't have anything on Monday. On Monday, I was like, I do not know what it is that I am going to talk about. I didn't have any slides, hadn't practiced, I hadn't done anything. And I'm sitting here like, oh my God, what am I doing? What is happening? Why is it that like, I just don't know. I'm having a total mental breakdown right now. And I just don't understand what's happening. So I was like, all right, put my money where my mouth is. That's what we're doing. Divine inspiration. Let's do some conscious stream of thought. I journaled for like 30 minutes, just data dumped everything. And at the end of it, I was like, yeah, I still got no idea. I took my little handy dandy journal, turned around, put it on the Bible. The thought immediately came, if you talk about the Bible, you just finished Genesis. That would be cool. I mean, come on, you guys. Like, this is so good. And not to mention, did that happen? But I got 6 other classes in the works for you guys. So be prepared for that. And then not only that, I actually have an astrologer that's coming to do some guest speaking on on this masterclass series, which I'm going to put the description in the notes or whatever, so that you guys can sign up for those, because it's going to be so powerful. So I've got like 3 months worth of content just because I decided to sit down with the question, do the journaling, and was like, yes, I'm open. And let me tell you, when I put that journal down, there was zero inclination that this was what was going to be born from it. There was zero in like my logical brain could not put that together. But I finished like putting the notebook down on the Bible. I was like, oh, there's my answer. There's the divine inspiration. It just freaking happens every time. And I love it. Oh my God. Those moments, oh, amazing. Okay. So every step you take towards your vision, before it's proven is it's an act of faith. Every single video I created is an act of faith. Every single time you go on a date, it's an act of faith. Every single time you put out your resume, it's an act of faith. Every single time you ask somebody for business, it's an act of faith. Every single time. And so you keep putting that into the faith bucket. And the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. Aligned action comes before validation, the applause, the results, the proof, the cash, the prizes, all that wonderful stuff. That's going to come at the end of the story. You have to live through the other stuff right now. People are so in a rush to get to the end that it's like, what am I doing? And I just interviewed a minister who God told him he had to quit his job and just go live on faith. Like, could you do that? Could you be like, hey, I'm going to go quit my job and live on faith? Imagine me telling my husband that. My husband would be like, what are you talking about? Oh, but he actually did do that. And he actually is supportive now. Oh, and let me tell you, the fact that like he decided, hey, I'm going to, uproot my life, uproot my children, but I know that God's got me. Amazing. So be on the lookout for that. Podcast should be like at the end of August or something like that. So, and the last part of this is that discomfort is not a sign to quit. Discomfort, like I was talking about earlier with the whole comfort zone. You're in your bubble. You're in your comfort zone. You're in your nice protective bubble wrap. But then one day you're like, oh, I gotta get out of here. Yeah, it's gonna be painful. What you thought was like this protective bubble wrap is actually just suffocating you into oblivion. So you have to get out of there, and that requires cutting and moving and getting out of the bubble. And it's so uncomfortable. Every failure is gonna be uncomfortable. Every single time you get rejected is going to be uncomfortable. Every time nobody shows up to your podcast, every time nobody shows up to listen to what you have to say, every time nobody buys your book, every time nobody reads your article, every time the police come for you, every time something like that happens, it is because you are designed to move out of your comfort zone. You have to learn to be rejected. You have to learn to have nobody say yes. You have to learn all that stuff because you're telling the universe, I want something different. I don't want this. With this, yeah, tell me no so I can stay here. Yes, don't show up so I can stay here. That's what you're telling the universe. But until you start demanding, no, I want people to say yes because I want to be over there, you're going to stay stuck here because you're accepting the no's as like the signal to stay put. And that's, that should be the title of this video. So when actions look crazy, what was I saying about Noah? Like, oh my God, I got to build a boat in the middle of the desert. What's rain? I don't understand. Like, that's crazy, God. But you just keep going. Do you know why? Because it makes you happy, because it's aligned, because deep down, that's the thing you're supposed to do. Deep down, that you need to move in that direction. It's scary as all hell, and everybody's going to look at you with like crazy eyes. But that means that you're moving in the right direction. You got to write the books. You got to have the hard conversations. You got to post the video. Like, you got to build before the world validates you. You have to actually tell the world, hey, this is what I want. Now give it to me. And everybody's going to like tell you, stop being reckless. And I'm going to share with you guys my story right now. So the first time I left engineering, oh my God, everybody was like, what are you talking about? Leave engineering for what? Life coaching? What are you talking about? Are you crazy? Like, people were like upset. Oh my God, my mom, I think I broke her heart because quite frankly, that was crazy. I left engineering. I left a 6-figure salary, benefits, retirement fund. Like, I left all of that to pursue my dream of becoming a life coach. And like, I didn't know it was my dream until it was my dream, right? It wasn't like this lifelong dream. It was just like finally it formulated into what it really was. And everybody thought it was crazy. And guess what? One day I thought it was crazy too. And I went back to engineering. And I was there for another year. And at the end of that year, every day I was going into work crying. And every day I felt like my soul was dying. And I spent this entire year like, what am I doing? This is the actual thing that's crazy. Me being in a place where I absolutely hate my life, would like that's the crazy thing. So I wound up leaving again. And people told me the same thing again. Hey, that's crazy. What are you doing? You had another job that paid you even more. Like, what are you doing? And like, it was just noise at that point. It was like, no, me staying was the crazy thing. Like, people will project on you their fears, insecurities, their bubbles onto you because they feel like, oh, if they did it, they would fail. And it's an innocent thing because they don't want you to feel the pain of failure too. But the pain of failure is a good thing. The pain of failure leads you to the next amazing thing. That's what a lot of people don't understand. So they don't want you to feel the fear they don't want you to feel the pain of failure, but you should be chasing the pain of failure because that's the direction you need to head in. That's like the, hey, out of this bubble. So let's talk about Joseph. And this is where I can kind of get lengthy. So this is a too long didn't read because last time I went off on this like Joseph tangent for 20 minutes to tell you guys his story. This is the story, right? He's the youngest of 12 brothers. His brothers hate him because he's the baby, he's the favorite. And one day he has this vision of his brothers bowing before him. And his brother's like, who do you think you are? Let's throw him in a well. So they threw him in a well. And then they were like, you know what? Let's sell him into slavery. So they sold him into slavery. And then, so they sold him into slavery to Potiphar. But Potiphar recognized that he was a pretty cool dude, raises him to be like head of his household. And like, so you would think, well, everything's working out for him, right? But then Potiphar's wife decides to claim that he assaulted her. So Potiphar was like, all right, bae, throws him in jail for 10 years. So he's in jail. Now, again, he's thinking, I had this dream. Like, why did I have this dream? Like, why is it that my brothers are going to be bowing before me? So he's in jail, and there's these two dudes. One was like the Pharaoh's baker, and the other one was like the Pharaoh's hedge knight or something like that. Again, don't come for me. I don't really remember the details. But he translates their dream because Joseph had the gift of translating dreams. So he tells one, he's like, yeah, in 3 days they're going to hang you. And then to the hedge knight, he was like, hey, yeah, in 3 days you're actually going to be restored and everything's going to be all cool. So in 3 days, the guy gets hung and the other guy winds up being restored. So as he's leaving, he's like, hey, remember me. At the end of the chapter, it says, oh, and the hedge knight forgot him. So 2 years go by. And so he's still in prison. And 2 years later, Pharaoh has a dream that he can't interpret. And the hedge knight's like, oh, actually, there was this dude who interpreted dreams in prison. Maybe you should talk to him. So they call him up. He interprets the dream and he's like, all right, great. Now you're second in command. The only person who's above you is me, Pharaoh. So now Joseph is second in command of Egypt. And like the dream had to do with there being like 7 years of blessings and then 7 years of famine. So this now we're fast forward into the 7 years of famine. Joseph's family comes and they're begging for food and they're bowing in front of him. And Joseph's like, oh my God, my dream is just happening. Like, what is happening right now? And he like tells his brother, hey, by the way, I'm Joseph. And they're like, no way, like for real? And he was like, for real. And so, they reunite the story. But the dream did not end. Okay. And that's like the hardest thing for people to really wrap their heads around, is that you have this dream of greatness. You have this dream that is so powerful, amazing, wonderful, beautiful, high vibration coming at you. And then all of a sudden you're like, but wait a minute, I'm getting evicted. But wait a minute, they repoed my car. But wait a minute, my job just fired me. But wait a minute, my husband just ran away with the nanny. And you're just like, everything is like falling apart around me. And I hate to say this, but it's good. Because if you're holding true to your dream and doing the things that are for your dream, the things that were not meant for you will fall away. Everything that is aligned with that dream, it's making way for those things. So you have to continue on the path and not stay stuck in the hell that is happening of all the things that are being destroyed and thinking, oh my God, everything is like falling apart. You have to really hold on to the fact that like, oh, okay, that left so that I can make room for more time to hone my craft. Okay, I got fired. Okay, I never would have started my podcast had I not quit my job. You have to start to zoom out and say, okay, what is this making space for? And people do not understand that, okay? People just do not understand it because it's painful. Nobody likes pain. Nobody likes to be uncomfortable, but you have to do it in order to get to the next thing. So from the pit to the palace. So we just went through all of this. Like, it was crazy. Like, could you just imagine being 10 years in prison and being like, yeah, one day my brothers are still going to bow to me. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong. I know, like, I follow different accounts on YouTube and when I was on Instagram and TikTok of people who like left prison, turned their life around, became so much more, became a powerful force in their communities. And like, if people who are at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the bottom can turn their life around, why can't you, sitting in your comfortable ass home right now, be able to change your life for the better? Think about that. Think about that. What is it about you that you're like, oh, I have already this leg up on people who are at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. And yet I can't do it. For me, it's not going to happen. Like I'm too, it comes down to the belief in yourself and working from that place and knowing that your calling is meant for you. It's not meant for other people. It's meant for you. So we're finally getting to be faith in who you are becoming. Who are you? Are you the man in the mirror? I don't know. There's a lot of Michael Jackson stuff online lately, so I had to say that. So 4 things that you need to believe about yourself. I am capable, I am worthy, I am chosen for my assignment, and I can become who this requires. So let's talk about being capable. Capability is a skill. Capability is just, you can learn to master anything. So I remember thinking this the other day, and I was like, if it takes 10 years to master something, let's say, right? And I'm 43 years old. Okay. And let's say I picked up the piano today. I took lessons and every day I practiced 20, 30 minutes. In 10 years, I'll be 53 and be amazing at playing piano. Okay. Now, would I be better if I had started when I was 7 years old? Yeah, obviously. However, like, that doesn't mean that you cannot start now. Even if I were 80 years old and I only had 3 more years to live, well, I got 3 years to play the piano. I got 3 years to learn a little diddly song. Seriously, you are capable of much more than you give yourself credit for. People want things to come easily to them. Like, oh, I'm not good at sales. Okay, yeah, so what? You can learn. Okay, I'm not good at dating. Okay, well, you can learn. How do you learn? By doing the thing. That's That's the whole thing. It's practice. Practice makes perfect. The next is I am worthy. Now, I'm going to get back on my soapbox here because worth to me is something that I have personally struggled with. And every single morning, I remind myself, not only am I worthy simply because I exist, I am worthy regardless of the outcome. I am worthy of every single thing that I have had, every single thing that I have now, and every single thing that is in my future. I am worthy of it all. And it's really reminding yourself that the inherent part of you, the soul part of you, that part inside of you, that is God. And God is worth all of this and so much more. That you believing that you are not worthy is saying God is not worthy because you are a piece of God. That little piece of soul that is inside of you, that creator that is inside of you, is like the biggest, most worthy of them all. And that, you take that to the bank. The other thing is, I am chosen for my assignment. Not my assignment, not your assignment, not his assignment, not her assignment, not the president's assignment, nobody else's assignment. You are chosen for your assignment. You are the one that is supposed to fulfill whatever it is that is calling to you. You are the one that is supposed to fulfill whatever is on your path. And that we have to fight through the things that our parents told us. We have to fight through the things that society tells us. We have to fight through the things that we have experienced before that contradict everything. Like I have started well over a dozen businesses and have failed them all fundamentally because, well, I was terrible at business, but because none of those businesses were at all anything that I wanted to do. But I knew that I wanted to start a business. I knew that my life was meant for entrepreneurship. I knew it. I knew it. And how much crap did I have to eat in order to get there? Yeah. But that's my assignment. And I kept hammering away at it. Now, finally, I can become who this requires. Again, being the person who can change is a skill. And I'm not saying leave your job, leave your partner, take the dog, run away, move. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying you can become the person who at the end of the day is happy with who you are. You can become the person who is that version of you that has everything by shifting just a little bit. Again, I'm not asking you to overhaul anything about your life because you're bad, because you're wrong, no, it is simply a shift in elevating who you are to the frequency of the thing that you want. So yeah, you got to change. Nothing changes if you don't change. Wait, that's not the quote. It's nothing changes if nothing changes. And that includes you. So let's see. The identity shift. A lot of people don't like talking about identity shift because they have the feeling of what's wrong with me? Why can't this version of me, have it? So first, I want to say there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not incorrect. Your manifestation isn't wrong. What happens is it just even think about who you were 5 years ago. That was a different person. Think about 10 years ago. That was a different person. You are constantly shifting anyways, regardless of whether you are conscious or not. The identity shift I'm talking about is that you consciously shifting that identity into the place that you want to be. I'm not saying change for the worse. I'm not saying overhaul your personality. I'm not saying drop everything and run. I'm saying little tiny shifts in habit, in thought patterns, in the way that we view the world. It just takes tiny little shifts in order to be able to just move, right? In order to drastically and radically change your destiny. So again, who do you become? Can you be the person that when you receive money, you keep it? Can you be the person that when you attract the relationship, you can sustain it? Can you be the person who has a business and you can lead it? Like, are you somebody who can be that person? Like, think about the people who win the lottery. And I know I mention this every single video, but they don't have the skills to keep the money. Now it's a lot easier, but before that was not what the reality was. People were going bankrupt in a few years when they won the lottery because they just were like, hey, I'm going to blow this, because they didn't realize that it was actually finite. Who'd have thunk? So let's just finish this up real quick, because your future self is already real. That person is real. So you are not trying to become a fantasy. You're not trying to be some rando person that you don't even recognize. You are just stepping more into alignment with who you already are. That person who can see the reality for what it is. You're moving towards a version of yourself that already exists, already is whole, capable. You're already enough. You're already worthy. Faith means believing in that person before you even fully seen them. You know that in order to have the thing that you want, you've got to be more visible. You got to be more wealthy. You got to be more peaceful. You got to be more disciplined. But guess what? You're already those things. It's just a matter of bringing them out. And so, you guys, that is where we end this masterclass today. I hope I could shed some light on how important faith is in terms of your manifestations. Every Thursday, I host a masterclass, and, having people attend live would keep me from recording this twice, because there would be sound and I would know that. Also, in a couple of weeks, we're going to have an astrologer come join me. We're going to start talking about manifestation in terms of our astral charts and astrology charts, birth charts. See, I don't even know. So I need help with somebody who's going to help me with that. And it's going to be a 7-class series. I'm going to put up the dates for that next week. I'm going to reveal more about it next week. I also have Manifestation Mondays, which is a group manifestation. If you would like to be a part of that, shoot me an email. Also, every Tuesday, catch me interviewing other coaches, because, man, coaches are killing it these days. Like, we are really out there changing the game, helping people elevate and reach their goal faster and better than ever. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.